Hi guys, here's Riccardo Fasoli from Creative Wedding, and today we talk about the lenses. So we will talk about all the lenses what I have in here in my office. But this doesn't mean that it's all the lenses that I bring on the wedding, because we've traveling a lot of time we have destination wedding here and there, and I have really to choose the right lens that I find good for that kind of event, that kind of wedding. Sometimes the wedding they are really small, sometimes they're big, and depend also of what kind of situation they are coming out in the event. I choose a kind of lens to bring with me. So guys, after I'm watching now the video that I record, there's a lens flare the whole video. I'm talking about the lenses, and there's this lens flare on the face the whole video. Sorry guys for that. Let me know if it disturb you a lot. To me, it disturbed me a lot, but I record 1 hour of footage of interview of speaking. I have no fun to make it again. So sorry for the lens flare. Okay, let's start with the wide angle lens. So what I have for wide angle lens. For wide angle lens, I have the 1728 from Tamron. This lens here. I find it really good. It's compact. I really like that kind of 17 millimeter for showing a kind of location or environment, and when the place is really small that I can't move so much. Sometimes if you are on a helicopter or in a tiny space with a lot of people, a lot of time also for parties. They are really beautiful. I don't use a lot really wide angle lens, and this lens is one of the lenses that I put in my bag less in less time. So it's not very often in my bag. But if I have the possibility, or if I have to choose one lens that looks almost like a GoPro, this is the wider lens that I have. So the 17 millimeter is the widest lens that I have. But again, this lens, I used it last year, I think one or two times, and but it's a great lens. It's not so expensive, but I don't give also that big importance in my kit. This is the widest that I have. So the other lens that I have is the 20 millimeter 1.8. This is a beautiful lens. It's not so expensive, and I like it. It's really, I love it to use it at parties when people were dancing really close to one to another. This lens is, I have it often in my bag. So if I have to choose a really wide angle, a lot of time this lens is in my bag. Okay, we're going on with the wide angle lens. there's the 24G Master that I have. Is a 1.4, and this is an amazing lens. This is one of my favorite it's my favorite lens for the wide angle. And 24mm, I find it is yeah, I love it. 24mm, it's an amazing lens. In the last year, I use it less because Anne, my wife, she is using this lens a lot for photos, and I took more the 20mm. But if I have to choose, probably I'm going to buy another one. In this moment, I didn't bought it because I have another lens that has also the 24mm. But this lens, the 24mm 1.4 G Master from Sony, is an amazing lens. I really, really love it, and actually I miss it a little bit. Time to time, I'm stealing to Anne, and I use it also. But it's in the last year, it never was in my bag, sadly. Because also, if I love the lens, it doesn't mean that it's a lens that I must have in the bag. But yes, 24mm 1.4, top. Okay, next lens is the 35mm, the 1.4. Beautiful, amazing lens. This is the G Master. I know that for video, the better choice would be the 35 1.8, not the G Master. I got this one because I love the 1.4. Also, if there's not so much different, but I love the 1.4. And this lens, I love it because how much closer you can go to a subject. So it's really almost a kind of macro lens when you're using it. But I have to say that in the last 2 years, I use it, I think, 1 or 2 times. Why this? Because this lens, for me, it's guys, it's a personal opinion and it's my taste. I find it quite a boring lens. This one from the G Master has a really big focus breathing. Yes, you said, Riccardo, the new camera has a focus breathing compensation, but I don't know if you tried to put it on and off, you are going to lose like a lot. And if you put the active stabilization of the camera plus the focus breathing compensation, this 35mm, it becomes a 42, something like that. And so that kind of focus range, it's going to be almost like my favorite lens that we talk soon. So this lens, I have it. I'm thinking to sell it because it's expensive. It's an expensive lens, and I don't use it a lot. Yeah, so yeah, 35mm is not my favorite lens. I have it, but I'm thinking to sell it. So again, I like it because you can go really close to a subject. This is a really good point. But if I have to choose between this and 24, for sure I would take the 24mm, and this is not. Okay, let's go on with, for me, the most important lens for the wedding, and is the 50mm. Wait. The 50mm. So is the 50mm. 50mm, I have my main 50mm is this, the 50mm G Master from Sony is the 1.2, and this lens is so good. With this lens I done a lot of weddings, really a lot of weddings, and also I shoot a lot on the wedding days. I done a couple of weddings that this lens was the 90% of the time on my camera. It's a big lens, it's a heavy lens, it's an expensive lens, but the image that it produces, it's so beautiful. And the 50mm, it's my favorite focus lens. So the 50mm, probably for a lot of you it's a boring lens or a normal lens. Yes, it's the normal lens. But at the wedding day, this kind of focus range, it gives me the perfect distance with my subject for how I am. So from the kind of energy, from the kind of empathy and everything what comes in through the respect of the guest and the couple, it gives me the image that I'm looking for with getting the distance that I want, so that I feel comfortable with it. And this is the part where I think that the choice of the lens is really personal, because I'm sure that some people they could get this kind of imagery, fantastic intimate moment with a really wide angle lens. Sometimes I get it also, but the most of the time I find that more wild is the lens. For example, the 35mm, I need to go one step nearer to the subject, but a lot of time you understand that kind of place you are crossing a line where you are a little bit in how can I explain you are a little bit too invadent in somehow. And when you are crossing that line, you feel it. You feel it in the image. You feel in the video. You feel that the people is uncomfortable with you. And with the 50mm, it's my spot where I feel good. I feel comfortable. If I have to suggest one lens to someone who is starting to do wedding film, I would suggest the 50mm. But every time, as I say, it's a really personal choice. But okay, the 50mm 1.2 from Sony, the G Master, is my favorite lens of all time. Yes, yes, yes. About 50mm. 50mm, I have a lot of them. One other really sexy lens for as a 50. This is a 58. This vintage lens is a Helios. There are a lot of versions of this lens. I have 3 of them. This is the difficult to tell you. This is the there's a kind of symbol that it tells you what kind of version of this lens it is. I will show you. I don't use it often, but the image what produced this lens is magical. Is absolutely magical. I used it a couple of years ago. It gives a kind of really soft image, and the bouquet what produces is unique. The thing what why I stopped to use it, it's because of the only that has the only the manual focus. Also, if I'm using a lot the manual focus, I need now, and also because the camera were really good on it, the autofocus, because I can't watch so good, I can't see so good, I need the glasses. I have glasses now at weddings, become older and older, so I trust sometimes the autofocus, and this one doesn't have the autofocus, and it's only manual. So again, also if I love, and most of the time, a lot of time I use the manual focus, sometimes I like to have the possibility to use the autofocus for to be sure, or to be quieter and somehow, yeah. But this is a lens that I will never sell, and I love it. It's the 58 Helios. Another 50mm that I used a lot last year. Actually, I used really a lot. It's a cheap lens. This is 50mm tilt shift. This is from 7 Artisan, I think is the name. Yeah. It's a really cheap lens. Also, this only manual focus, so no autofocus, but has this kind of so let's see, yeah, has the tilt shifter, and this gives you the possibility to play a little bit more with the image, create a kind of bouquet that doesn't exist actually. And yeah, it's a 50mm with a plus, let's say, with a plus, because of that tilt shift. It's a beautiful manual focus. Manual focus, it's really good. Not like the Helios, but it's a little bit harder and not so soft to use in somehow. This is it's really good. For the price what has this lens, I really love it, and this is another lens that I would never sell. Okay, so let's go. There's this new lens. This is new in our office, let's say. This is the new Sigma, the 2835, the 1.8, the first lens with this kind of aperture, 1.8 to the 28 till 35. This is an amazing lens. An amazing lens. In this moment, I use it only one time, and the most of the time Anne used this lens. This lens, we bought it because of the focus range from 28-35. It's a really interesting range. Also, when you are using it, you don't feel so much that range, so you have the feeling that you are zooming too less. But 28, it's a fantastic focus lens. Actually, this lens that I'm filming now is a 28 Viltrox. I never use it on a wedding day, but we have it. Anne used it a lot in the past. For photos, and in this moment this lens Anne is using a lot, and it's fantastic for her for getting ready or the couple shooting. It's a beautiful lens, but why I'm not thinking to buy this for me? Because so I had I had in the past the Black Magic camera, and I got the famous 1835, that is the same of this lens, but for the crop sensor. This is for the full frame, it's the same. So 1835 is the same of the full frame to 88 to 45. And on the Blackmagic camera, I use it in a couple of time for shooting. I use it, and also on a wedding with the Blackmagic camera. But now I use it the last time, one time, but I don't think that I say it again, that I don't will buy it for me, because I don't like the manual focus of this camera. The manual focus, it's not responding as I would love. And for this kind of range, so 28 to 35 to 45, I find it that it's too less the range for such an heavy beast, because it's heavy. It's really a heavy lens, and I would prefer to have a 24 millimeter smaller and a 50 millimeter 1.2. I prefer to have these two lenses than to have this one. This is my idea, what I'm thinking. Or I prefer to go to the other lens that I use really a lot. That is the 2470 G Master. This is really a fantastic lens. I love it. This is a lens that I don't think that I will never sell it. Also that I know that it will come out the 2470 2.0, that I find really interesting. But the size from this, the weight and the image that produce, the manual focus, it's also, I find it good. This is the version 2. I have also the version 1, but the version 2 is lighter. The manual focus is better. Yeah, had the aperture ring that I like to have, but the first version didn't have. And this lens, I use it really a lot. So there are weddings where I had only this lens on my camera, especially when I am a solo shooter. This lens, it's fantastic. I use it also for make kind of a gimbal movement with the gyro of the camera. So I had only this on the camera without any gimbal, but I had that fantastic tracking shot with the 24 millimeter. And the 70 millimeter, it's really good for reaction details. Yeah, 24 millimeter 2470 is a lens that in the past I found it boring lens, but time to time I find it more interesting, maybe because I become a little bit more lazy, but I don't think it's because of that. It's because I like to have that 24 millimeter, as I said to you before. The 24 millimeter is a lens that before was one of my favorite lenses, the 1.4. But now, for the reason that Anne using a lot that lens, and I still didn't bought a 24 millimeter new for me, because I have this 2470. And yes, it's a 2.8, it's not a 1.4, but it's really versatile. It's you can use it in a lot of occasion, and the focal range, so it's really good. It's really good. Also for speeches or vows, or as I say, the kind of gimbal shots. It's a lens that I really like. And actually, I have it every time in my bag. Yes, this lens, I have it every time in my bag, and it's one of my favorite lens. Okay, let's go on to the telephoto. Here I have the 85mm 1.4 G Master. This is from the family of the G Master lenses, a quite old lens, and you feel it. It's a beautiful lens, it's a good lens, but it's really heavy. Really heavy. It's heavier than the 50mm 1.2. The minimum focus distance is not that good. The autofocus is noisy. So actually I'm hoping that should come out in the next times, what I'm hearing from the Sony rumors, the new version of this lens. And I'm hoping more for a smaller and lighter 85mm 1.4 than a same heavy or 1.2. So I don't care the 1.2, I care a lighter version of the 85. And the 85mm, it's a lens that should be considered like the 50mm. So for me, I find that there are videographers that they are doing an amazing job. Probably a lot of you know Philip White. I remember that I started to use the 85mm because I was watching his films, and I get also a fantastic kind of imagery, but I can't use it like him. And I use it sometimes, so I done some weddings only with the 85, but I don't find that is my focal. It's not my lens. Also, if I find it really sexy, really good, it's you get a kind of compression, kind of bouquet that is really beautiful. I use it a lot on the wedding day, so for a lot of time I use it here and there. For example, Philip White, he is using this lens in a magical way, so it's really, really good. And you feel that it belonged to him, that kind of focal length. I use it only because it gets some beautiful imagery, but it's not. I can't say that is my my to-go lens. Let's say. In the last 1 year and a half, it was often in my bag because again the imagery, it's beautiful, it's amazing. But it's not that easy. It's not that easy. So you have to understand better the distance, the space. Yeah. And if it will come the new version, I will sell this one and I will get the new version because I find that is a lens that I want to have in my bag. The other lens that surprised me a lot, now it's almost a couple of years, is this 35-150 from Tamron. And this lens, 2 years ago when I got this lens, was a lot in my bag, and I let the 85 at home. The focus range 35 till 150, it's fantastic. It's really, really, really good. And the aperture what has this lens is 2 At 35 millimeter is 2.0, and when you go to 150 is 2.8. So the bokeh, what you get, the focal range that you're getting with this lens, it's amazing. The downside for me, it's really heavy. It's a really heavy lens, and that made this lens for me not so practical. I use it time to time because before I had also the 7200 from Sony, but I use it actually only for ceremonies. When the ceremonies they are set and you take your place when you have more shooter, the 7200 it's a fantastic lens to get closer without getting closer. This is replaced for me the 7200 because from 150 to 200 there's not such a big difference, but from 35 to 70 there's a big difference. You really feel, I'm talking about me, I feel that place between 35 to 70 millimeter, and it's much more practical to have something like that than the 7200. But as I said, this year I never had it in my bag because I prefer to bring with me the 85 millimeter, only because it's a bit smaller and lighter, and yeah, it's I prefer to bring the 85 1.4 than that monster. If I have big wedding, I probably will bring with me. When actually I had it one time. We had a big wedding this year, and I had it with me. It's only because I didn't use it. It was my second shooter use it, but I had it with me on a big wedding, a big ceremony with a lot of people. It's a good lens. Yeah, I think that we talk about every lens what I have here, and I think that you understand also which lens I prefer. Maybe I should talk also about the Osmo Pocket. The Osmo Pocket is amazing. It's an amazing toy. I had it a couple of times this year. I used it a couple of times this year. I had it in my pocket, and when I had the 50 millimeter in my camera, I used to have also this one on the side to get also a wide angle point of view of the moment, and it worked fine. It was good. Also, I find it good when as a third camera, when I put it in a place somewhere when you are alone and you have the possibility with your iPhone to control where is pointing the camera, and if it's filming, and you can track. So it's really a cool toy. I would suggest to someone who is starting, or if you want to have to let at home your gimbal, this is doing his job. I got a couple of weddings where I didn't have the gimbal with me. I had only this one, and the shots were useful. They are good. They are it's everything fine. So Osmo Pocket, yes, Osmo Pocket 3, top. I have also GoPros and stuff like that, but today let's talk only about this stuff, because the video it's going it's never finished. So Again, I find that if you are choosing a kind of lens, you should choose based on your way to be on in the event, and what kind of energy and empathy you have with the couple or the guest. So if you are a person that you are quite you are small and you you don't feel, nobody feels you during the days and the moment. If you have a wide angle lens, you can create amazing close-up shots. But if you are a little bit more your kind of energy, the people feels you when you are in the near, I would suggest to get a lens that gives you a little bit more distance to get that kind of natural shots. Oh God, guys, I don't know how it's a really long video. Probably again we will do more videos about these lenses. I decided to make this one to only tell you about the lenses, what I have here and when I use them. I hope that it was useful. Guys, it would be fantastic if you could like this video, or if you can follow me, because this is giving me a little bit more of motivation. Nothing is sponsored, so it's I'm doing with my time at the moment. YouTube, probably down here we will put you some affiliate links from all the lenses what I have. If you use it, maybe I will get some sense, maybe not, I don't know. So guys, have a fantastic day, and write me down when you have some questions or something that you find more interesting for future videos that will help me to create content. So guys, have a fantastic day and ciao!